All right, it is exactly 6 p.m. So we will start our farm spaces in collaboration with Food from Zanzi. Tonight's episode is going to be very exciting. We're going to be speaking about rabbit farming. This is a new industry for me. I don't think a lot of people have heard it, but tonight we have farmers who are doing exceptionally well in this sector, and they are going to be sharing with us today what it takes to be a rabbit farmer, the ins and outs, what we need to know, and what it takes to also be very lucrative. So what I will do now is I will let our farmers introduce themselves, and then we can start our session from there. So, Rabbit Premier, please unmute yourself. Tell us who you are, what you do, and what you're about, really.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Daisy Moleko. I'm a commercial rabbit farmer. I've started research and development 20 years ago in rabbit farming. So the reason why I'm in rabbit farming is because I was sick and then my doctor advised me to eat white meat, which I opted for rabbit meat. So since then, from 2000, let's say from 1991 up until 2000, I was really confused and not knowing where to get the meat until I started farming with them and exploring and doing research at around 2000, So, yeah, that's me.
Wow, thank you so much, Rabbit Premier. You've clearly been in the industry for a long time. I cannot wait to learn from you. Umar, please do the same. Tell us who you are, your name, where you're from, and what you're about.
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Umar. You're just in a bit of a noise, but so we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. I'm on an apple from Nigeria. I'm a farmer, a passionate farmer. So I actually ventured into
Umar, sorry to interrupt you
farming.
there, but we'd really like to hear you. Is it possible that you could maybe speak louder?
Okay, okay. Can you hear me clearly now?
Really, thank you so much.
Okay. I said I'm another farmer by name from Nigeria. Yeah, so I'm a passionate farmer. I'm a passionate farmer. So I actually I ventured into rabbit farming in 2015. Um, and the reason behind that is that I actually worked on my rabbits in 2014 as my final year project. And ever since then, I actually developed interest in it because I actually found some interesting facts about rabbit farming. The fact that they are white meat, and as well their rabbits their meats are widely recommended for age diabetic pregnant women and people who are having heart problems. So and ever since 2015, I started rabbit farming till date and so far so good. In the last 6 years, at least I've trained and I've helped to set up a rabbit farm here in Nigeria, and I can tell you that we now have a lot of people into rabbit farming here in Nigeria.
That is great. And it's great to see that rabbit farming is growing in parts of Africa as well, not only in South Africa. Umar, could you just mute your mic there? Thank you so much. Okay, we'll come back to you, Rabbit Kenya. Please tell us about rabbit farming. So let's say I'm a young farmer and I really want to get into the industry. What is it that I need to start rabbit farming as small as my backyard?
Okay. Rabbit farming actually needs space. It doesn't need a small space. Okay, let's start with where you can start. The most important thing in rabbit farming is to start with your training. You need to be trained theoretically and practical. But the most important part in training is practicals. Um, it's so nice to feel and touch and to see what we have learned in theory. that you can do practically. And then the other thing is space. Yes, it needs, you can start backyard if you don't want to go commercially. Because what I've realized is that if your space is small, eventually it will get smaller because they breed a lot. They give you from 6 to 12. If you're lucky, you can get up to 16 babies. So meaning that you need to have more space for growth. So I normally advise people to start on a 1 hectare minimum, and then maximum it can be on 5 to 10 hectares, because once you build a big rabbitry, that's when you can be able to see the growth, because you need to build, even if you start small in a bigger structure, by the time you reach like your 2 years, the structure will be full.
Thank you so much, Robert Premier. But like, tell us more about these structures. How big do they need to be? And if you're speaking about space, how big is enough for us to start a rabbit farming enterprise?
Okay, it will depend how big you want to start. Like I said, you can start in your backyard, or you can either start in a farm, because I advise people to start in a farm on a structure that will be like 12 meter by 35 meter. It will give you enough space to grow. Or you can go on 6 meter by 22. Still, it will give you enough. Like you can, in a 12 by 35, you can have about 10,000 breeding stock, you know, or 10,000 rabbits, let me put it that way, because you'll be starting with 1,000 rabbits in the bigger structure. But if you're starting small, yes, you can also use the same structure, but putting few cages inside, because you need cages to stack them up. You don't need to go like your chickens on one level. So with rabbits, you can stack up to four shelves, 4 stacks. I
Thank
don't
you
know
so
if
much. Yes,
I've answered your question.
it did answer my question. Thank you so much. I just want to touch base with our other speakers. Umar, are you with us? Hello, Umar. All right, I think maybe our speakers are having network problems, but they will be sure to catch up with us. Umar,
I'm with you now.
are you present? Are you with us?
I'm with you. I'm with
That's that's perfect. So now we want to talk more about rabbit breeds. What is the purpose of a rabbit farm? Do we use the rabbits for meat production? Is it for their fur? So what you know, Mark, could you please mute your speaker? Sure, sorry guys. I think Umar is having some serious network difficulties, but it's okay. We'll proceed. Rabbit Premier, I think you can take this one. Let's move on to the purpose of rabbit farming, right? For us, it's a fairly new industry. So please tell us more about the lucrative business when it comes to rabbit farming. Do you focus on the breed? Do you focus on the fur? Which one is which, and how do you decide which breed to start with?
Okay, rabbit farming, the meat, it's the one that is moving faster, because there's a disturbance there. The meat, it's the one that moves faster, because what we did is we decided to start our agro processing, where we process the meat into wors, burgers, means your strips, your kebabs. So people, they get in there to get to know the meat, because at first it was so difficult to introduce the meat, because most people, they think that with rabbits it's a pet, so you must keep it as a pet. It's not for meat consumption, and we have to educate them to show them that no, the rabbit meat is actually healthy, because that's the most healthiest meat I know, the white meat, which it's very lean, no fat. So the part that makes money is the meat, and then we go to the urine and the poo of the rabbit. With the urine and the poo, you can actually sell them while you're farming, because You can sell about your 40 kg of your poo as a manure, and you can harvest the urine as well and sell it to farmers. Both you can sell it to farmers. And then you also have, in terms of the hide, it as a farmer, you can actually make more money on the hide. The hide end up with the abattoir and us when we slaughter. It's like when you take your cow for slaughtering, you only get the meat, and they take the benechutes and the hide. So it works the same in our space as well, because as soon as you harvest the hide from the abattoir, you need to have a cold storage. You need to have a place where you will store it, clean it first, clean it blood, and then you put salt on it, and then you freeze it. You must have that process. So normally at the abattoir, that's where we collect it from after slaughter. So three things that you can make money on is the meat, the urine, and the poo of the rabbit. So the urine and the poo, you can actually put them directly into your soil. It won't damage your soil. And then the poo, which it makes, we're selling a lot of poo to farmers that do worms. I can't remember what do they call it, vermiculture or something. So we sell it to them because they make a lot of manure. And then as for the urine, it's a foliar fertilizer. What you call a foliar fertilizer? You can get it from where they sell fertilizers. Also, it's safe to put it directly into the soil. It makes your vegetables grow faster and more green and organic as well.
Thank you so much, Robert Premier. And a follow-up question on that one. You mentioned an abattoir. Are there specified abattoirs for rabbits, or do you just take it to any other abattoir that you take your chickens or your other livestock?
Okay, in terms of the abattoir, we use a chicken abattoir, but they need to change where they put the, I can't remember what do they call that thing that comes on the neck, and then it needs to be shorter, not covering the whole neck as like in your chicken, because with rabbits you don't cut off the head of the body totally, because you need to buy rabbit meat with the head. So any abattoir that slaughters the chickens can have that equipment for slaughtering the rabbits. If it's not there, it's easy even to control the ones that they have, not to cut off the whole neck off, of the body, because of that rule that you need to buy it with the head. The reason why you need to buy it with the head is that you can eat a cat if you don't know your rabbit meat. So it's advisable to buy it with the head on, unless you know me as a rabbit farmer that I won't sell a cat to you, then it's safe.
Wow, thank you for that. Sometimes farmers actually do get scammed that way. So, guys, that is actually a tip. Thank you so much, Robert Premier. Let's check on our other speakers. Topster, are you with us?
Yes, I'm available.
Thank you so much for joining us. So, Topster, let's just get to you. We never got introduction. Please tell us yourself. We know you do small scale rabbit farming, but tell us how you started and why you chose to venture into rabbit farming.
Okay, my real name is Tusuitile Lobaleng from Morocco. I'm a small scale rabbit farmer. I started 20, 2018 while I was in Mafikeng. Well, we at my home in Mafikeng, we used to have, like, they used to buy us pets. Then there is this other day they bought me a little rabbit which they called Musa. Then I used to go to Mafikeng, visit there at my grandma's place. I used to play with Musa till to the time that we lost Musa. Then in 2018, I found about like rabbit farmers selling rabbits in the street. Then I bought like 3 of them because I love them. I just wanted to have them as pets till I got into a meeting with my other auntie who told me that there's actually a rabbit farming. Then after like telling me there's actually a rabbit farming, I didn't take that to consideration. Like I took like 2 months. Then there was this other roommates that I used to live with in Mafikeng. And then they told me that the urine of rabbits can be sold as a pesticides and the meat and the manure. Then from there, I started doing my own researches. Did my own research, saw how they prepare for rabbits, saw how they what scale do they want, whatever do they want. Then from that year, I was learning only about rabbit farming, downloading videos to educate myself. Then in 2019, when I moved back home, then I I came. They breeded. They were like 13. Then the other one jumped off the cage, left. We didn't know where it is. We were left with 12. Then I left two in Mafikeng, sold five, then came home with five. Uh, the rabbits were like uh, uh, were like crossbreed, but the only one that I knew which one was it was a chinchilla, which was a male rabbit, and it was other two, the brown one and the white one, which I couldn't actually recognize due to my uh, low lack of huge information that I could have ever sourced. Then from there, uh, when I came home with five, I breeded them till they got to a point whereby they were 57 of rabbits in a house. Because I didn't have a place where I could stash them, I only built cages. From there, after building cages, then I started telling people about rabbit farming. Then there was this point where I slaughtered about 13 just to sell to people and see how I can actually make a market for myself, because I saw it's only me in my village who is doing rabbit farming. There are those people who used to have rabbits, then they lost them and people kind of stole them and slaughtered them. But I wanted to initiate a rabbit farming here at home because I saw it as an opportunity that I could start and keep on developing it, keep on growing the market here home, because there's nobody else who is doing it. And on last year? Yes, last year I got an interview on SME on point on SABC News. I met this lady on Twitter after the younger uh, the younger farmer who posted my stuff on Twitter. Then it got to fewer people on Twitter. Then I got that interview. After getting that interview, and my marketing kind of growth, because I was receiving people came to me buying rabbits all the way from Khanyesa, which is the other village from my area, Freiberg and Tlachaming. People were buying my rabbits from those places, and other people locally were buying my rabbits. Then since from there till last year till up to this year, I'm still selling rabbits from 50 something, from 57 to 30 something. Then right now I'm kind of left with few, which is like 15, because I'm still reducing. I want to, since while I saw that I have a skill in rabbit farming. Now I want to change my production to focus on breeding pure breeds like New Zealand and Pendula. Yeah, they are the only rabbits that are for my choice right now that I want to breed. Soon as I get to
That's
uh, 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 take out these ones that are crossbreeds. Yeah,
yeah,
thank you.
yeah. That's amazing. So thank you so much for sharing your story, and thanks for also. I was actually about to get to the market of this, and
Yes,
it's so inspiring to find out that you can create the market yourself. You
yes,
know,
yes.
so big ups to you, people, and
Thank you
we'll
very
get
much.
back to you soon. We want to get let's try our farmer from Nigeria. Umar, are you there?
Range from 80 rands to 100 rands. So we make it be so accessible, and people must know where to get the meat as well. So we have our online app where we sell the meat online, which we sell it as raw. Our app, we've partnered with AgroWorks, where we sell it to more than 100,000 buyers. So although we haven't got a lot of market from there, but we're still starting. But we have the exposure of that type of a market. So during my research, while I was busy researching, the most important thing was to research on the meat, who's eating the meat locally. And I found out many people, they don't eat it and they don't know the health benefits. The reason why they didn't eat it because they didn't know the health benefits around rabbit meat. So now that we're educating them and we giving them taste, we're doing activations, we promote Chesa Rabbit. We have a shop in town CBD, where we sell the rabbit meat only, the Chesa Rabbit. And then we are also in Vilagazi Street, Soweto, where we sell the same brand, Chesa Rabbit. And then here in Midrand, we have our Rebelicious restaurant. It's a sit-in restaurant. Unfortunately, the restaurants are closed. So we have that in Midrand where we sell the meat. And people are starting to like the meat and even to come with families to come and taste for first time. And we have regulars. Once they've tasted, they want to taste other portions. Like we in rabbit we don't have wings. We have the front hoppers, we have the back hoppers because the rabbit hops. So we call them the rep hopper, the back hopper, and then we have the belly. We sell the belly. We sell the full rab. So we're having our own language as to call it, like a full rab. It's a full rabbit. Then yeah, they come back, they buy again, and we have regulars.
Wow, it seems like it's a booming business, guys. And I really feel like we ourselves as farmers need to look at this because it's untapped, uncharted territory. Not a lot of people are doing this. So if you really want to be successful, I think you need to be following Chopstar, you need to be following Rabbitpreneur because these are game changers when it comes to rabbit farming. And there is a market which
Yes,
is
yes,
very surprising. I don't want to lie, it's very surprising, but it's at the same time it's very pleasing. So Chopster, tell us
yes,
about you and your market because you went out there and you found your market. How do you determine
yes.
the prices? How much do they buy
Okay,
your rabbits for?
okay. Firstly, when I got home, I was highly hyped with passion. So I started selling my rabbits. When I went to like Google, they said that you can sell rabbits up to 700, which is the amount that was, I think, universal. And then from there, I started selling my rabbits at 400, 500, but I didn't get the market by then. So people were like, we can't buy that. I only received like one person who bought uh, three rabbits, and he bought them for like 1.5. So from there, I rethinked. I wanted to open the market for rabbit farming around my home. So what I did, I dropped the price to 100 rand. I started at 100 rand. I told myself that the price will increase every time when is the because I bought my three rabbits in on the 14th of July 2018. So every time when is the 14th of July is the birthday of my rabbit rabbit farming. So what I do is I add maybe 50 rand or 100 rand to because I tend to have more skills on rabbit farming, and I keep on updating on what I know and how I take care of my rabbits. So from there, from now I'm selling them at 200. By the 14th, I'll be selling them for 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 like for 100 250. And I also kind of halted at selling the meat because I didn't have the abattoir, but people are right now are asking me for the meat because they once tasted it. What I did for them to taste the meat, I was borrowing things. I borrowed the little braai stand, so I went out to the street, started braaiing it. Then the first one that I bried, I took it out, then gave it to people so that they could taste it. Then I got the customers, like one, two people bought. Then I went to the next area, one, two people also bought. The money helped me to buy pellets because the what I did that for is to kind of find the project so that I can also buy cages, material to build my own cages. So that's what I was eventually doing by last year till up to this year, selling the pets, or even if it's someone who wants to get into rabbit farming, because I'm encouraging other young people like me to also get into rabbit farming, because what I want to do after getting at least 4 to 5 people into rabbit farming, I want to start applying for the course at Department of Agriculture, so that it can be a group of people who will attend, not only me, because it will also be a it won't be a progress if I go alone to go to a workshop alone. So I want to like still open the market for other people to sell the rabbits. And I also want to open a chisa rabbit, and
Yeah.
also open a park whereby I will be teaching people about rabbits.
Wow. I love that. I love that, Chops. That's such a beautiful, inspiring story. And I love the fact that you're a go-getter as well. You know, you went out there and said, guys, rabbit meat is a thing.
Thank you.
And come to me, and I'll show you the ropes. I love that spirit. And, now I actually want to open up the floor to our listeners. Guys, if you want to ask our speakers a question, you're more than welcome to. Just request to be a speaker on here on your phone. Just tap and request to be a speaker and ask the questions directly. So the floor is officially open. And I'm going to continue asking the last two questions that I have for our speakers. But guys, listeners, you are more than welcome to take up the space. Don't be shy. This is a safe space. Ask your speakers whatever question that you feel like I might not have asked them. And, just fire it away. Our speakers are wonderful. And as you can see, very, very knowledgeable. Rabbit Premier, because you've been in the game for a long time, and this is a niche market, let us also be very honest about that. Please tell us about exporting. Is that something that we can also be looking into if we are rabbit farmers to export it to different countries? What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, exporting it's a very good one. Um, but to start with, I started with exporting at the beginning, and then I had to spend a lot of money in terms of accreditations and certifications, because with them they want HACCP and all other certificates, for you to send the meat into their countries. And then my last trip to Europe was the lady there asked me, Daisy, do people in South Africa eat rabbit meat? I said, no, I think I'm the only one who's crazy who's eating it. And then she said to me, go back there, go back to your country, introduce the meat, and then you can start with exporting, which was, it was a good advice that I got. So I started researching about the local market. I once supplied Spa, but the prices were too high for people to afford. And for you to get into the market with a new product, you don't have to be expensive in terms of selling the raw meat. And then you need to have a certified abattoir as well. As well, the abattoir must be certified to do import and export. And most abattoirs, they don't want that because it's expensive as well. But the local market, it's open, it's huge. Uh, Even if we want to explore the international market, let's firstly start and tap the local market, which is untapped, and then we can go to to other markets. Because I've got
Yeah.
I was approached by the Chinese, I was approached by Italy, France, a whole lot of countries, they are now approaching South Africa in terms of us supplying them with the meat. But firstly, let's start locally. Let's introduce the meat locally. Let's educate our customers, because what I saw and what I've learned, our customers, they are willing to taste the meat, and they're willing to buy, but they don't know where to buy the meat. So that's why we have an
Yes.
app where we sell the meat. That's why we have our restaurants, our Chesa Rabbit. Our Chesa Rabbit and the Rabbitpreneurs are now trademarked. We've trademarked them
Yes.
because we're going on franchise starting from next year. So, yeah, we get in there locally. Export is still open.
You are cutting. You are cutting. Yes, to add on that is that most people tend to, I don't know if Rabbit Entrepreneur has cut or what. A lot of people tend have approached me on going for a market outside. So I was like, what's the reason of selling the meat outside? What else we the people are not buying the meat? Also, we are not selling the meat to our people. What if the country as it was, you couldn't export meat, and then you what will you do with the meat if you can export it? You have to also introduce the meat and introduce the benefits to our people, because they're the ones who are going to stick with you for a long term. The outer market will stick with you when the borders are both are open, and they won't be available when the borders are closed. So it's very imperative. When I say I want to open a rabbit park, which I'm working on it, is because I want to teach people on rabbits specifically and rabbit meat, because they will I will have workshops on rabbits, then I will have workshops on rabbit meat. Thank you. You can ask. And
Thank you so much, Chops and Robert Pena. I'm really learning so much, and I'm sure the listeners are as well. Listeners, if you guys want to ask our wonderful speakers any question, you're more than welcome to. Please just request to be a speaker like them, so that you can vocalize your question, and then they can answer you directly. So the floor is open, guys. Questions, just fire away. This is a safe space. We have a question already. Love it. Keep them coming. But I'm going to ask you guys my question as well. And then we will close the space. Alexandra, how are you? Hi, Alexander. We're good, thank you. How are you?
we're fine, and you?
Yeah, I just want to ask about what about the skin of the rabbit? Does it have any value? Then I also want to know about maybe the diseases that maybe affect the rabbit, and what you do to prevent those diseases. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alexander. Speakers, anyone
Okay.
can take it away.
Okay, the skin is valuable. Like most of things in rabbits are valuable, like the fur and the skin, the manure and the urine, and also the whole rabbit, the rabbit as a whole. You see, so you can sell from the rabbit, from like everything in a rabbit. You can sell it, you see. So the disease that I have encountered, most people in the rabbit group encounter different diseases. So the disease that I have encountered is that ones of a a I don't know what is it called, but there's a there's a it start being a wound inside the ear, which you can give it a the other rabbit farmer advised me to pour some to pour some tree oil immediately after pouring a tree oil to that sore in the ear. It 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 takes about like even an hour, then that thing will be removed. Even a day it will be removed from the ear. So there's one disease that I have encountered. I think is the bacteria disease, and the other ones are of that there are a lot of diseases which we also share in the groups with pamphlets, PUD pamphlets, which you can read. But I have only encountered like diseases of of uh, of death, of ear problems, and that's the only disease that I've encountered in my rabbit farming. So to rabbitpreneur.
Okay, the disease is called ear mites. It's normally inside the ear, and it can affect the eardrum. So in my case, what I do is I use the olive oil. I warm it up, and then I put it aside to be cold, and then I started to clean them with the olive oil. So you can use any oil as long as you heat it first, and then it will go off. The reason why there are those diseases and other bacteria, it's when the rabbitry is not clean. So your rabbitry must be always clean. So in our trainings, when we train our farmers, we show them how to clean the rabbitry. I must be able to drink tea in your rabbitry. I mustn't put a mask or a hand over my nose to say your rabbitry is smelly. So as you can see on my profile pic, I normally carry the rabbits and then check them, and then yeah, we must be able to do that. I couldn't hear the question correctly, but I think I've answered what Chops was answering.
Thank you so much, Alexander. Are you satisfied with your answers?
Yes, I am answered. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Alexander, for your question. The floor is still open. If you have questions for our speakers, you too can also just ask them directly, and they will literally tell you every single thing that you need to know. My last question to you guys is that I want to know, right? Where can we find mentorship? Because now rabbit farming is a niche market. Not a lot of people are doing it. And Chopster was mentioning something about being in a group. So can we find this mentorship in groups, in like Facebook groups? Is there a club? Is there an association that one can join? Please just share those details with us.
Yes, they say
Okay,
okay, you go, you can go first.
okay. Oops. Yeah, in our case, I do a lot of mentorship because once a farmer is registered with us to do the courses, we give them support and mentorship, and then we give them a buyback model where we buy back the rabbits from the farmer at the agreed kilos. And then we do also have an association that we call Black Rabbit Farmers Association in South Africa, where we have a group of trained farmers that we trying to reach the market together. Because let me make an example. If we have to supply about 100,000 rabbits, we need about 500 farmers to come together and supply us with the rabbits. And because we don't want to be selfish and supply rabbits on our own, so we're sharing with other farmers, whom, like yourself, Gugu, if you want a mentorship, we mentor you throughout for 5 years. And then I'm definitely sure after 5 years, you'll be on your own. So you will learn a lot. You'll learn a lot from other farmers. We take you to other rabbitries to go and see how their setup is. And then we also have a hardware where we sell all the equipment that you can think of, the rabbit farming for the setup and other stuff. So we mentor you throughout, from setting up, from training to setting up, even to supplying.
Wow, thank you so much, Rabbitpreneur. That's very comforting and very encouraging to know that there are groups out there that one can join. If you want to be a rabbit farmer, you don't have to struggle on your own. There are people who can actually guide you through this entire process. Chopstar, what about you? What about your groups? Tell us more about that.
Well, on my groups, I firstly joined this other group which was from Kenya, because in Kenya it's like they are pro in rabbit farming. So I joined the group. It was from Facebook, but I saw from Facebook now they're not even saying anything. So it's only there whereby they manufacture their own pots for their rabbits. They even have the welded mesh which they are selling to each other. They sell rabbits to each other in that group. And I'm also in this other group which is from SA Rabbit Farming, which is kind of selfish. I don't know what's up to them, but in some other parts they tend to give out very cool information. And then they tend to some are and there's this thing in rabbit farming. I was selling my rabbits to the other guy in Taung. He said he bought rabbit from Cape Town. Then he paid, but they didn't deliver. So there's this thing of paying for rabbits and your rabbits not getting delivered. So we are trying to I'm trying to like find a way which we can get that thing out of our way, so that our people who wants to get into this rabbit farming can get their rabbits. I can't buy rabbits from somewhere right now because I might get scammed too. But if they say I didn't know about this sister uh, rabbitpreneur whom I would like to work with in the, like I would even, I just followed her, so I will be trying to work with her. So there are those groups. There's also me, who I teach my peers about rabbit farming. I just kind of get them information, get them videos that I have for them to know a little bit about rabbit farming. And I also want ladies, like women, to also be into rabbit farming, like local girls to be in rabbit farming. Because if I can get local girls to be in rabbit farming, it will be easy for the rabbit park to be built. It will be easy for the abattoir to be available in our area. It will be easy for the rabbit chisanyama to be available in our area. So that's the information I just get there and there through my researches, then dish out to people who have interest in rabbit farming.
Wow, thank you so much, Chopstar, for that one. Guys, as you can see, this market is literally calling your name. So please take up the opportunity to just do your research, contact Chopstar, contact Rabbitpreneur, because these are the guys that are really pushing this thing and they're doing so well, and there's space for you guys. So, go be a rabbit farmer and go be great. We have a question, I think, from Peter. Peter, you have a question?
Good evening, Gugulethu, and good evening to the rest of the farming community. Always great being here. Gugulethu, if you just
Thank
mind,
you.
just mind if I can just mention something about the scam, and just from a farming point of view, from my side as being a farmer as well. Just quickly, I want to mention something to the rest of the community. Um, guys, just be careful. There's lots of scammers out there. There's people wanting to take your money and taking you for a gamble. Just a quick story. We are a wine farm, but people use our name, our farm's name, and our VAT registration number and VAT number to sell animals at a cheap price, but never delivered the animals. So there's people out there doing honest farmers, doing them in. Upcoming farmers like yourself, maybe, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. Make sure you know the price, the correct price. If it's way too cheap, it probably is a scam. Make sure that they've got references that you can check of people that bought from them before, and make sure that they are legit. And if, like I said, sometimes they'll tell you they'll deliver tomorrow, you just need to pay. Make sure, as an upcoming farmer, I know the capital that you put in is quite expensive. So make sure that you spend your money wisely. And then lastly, I just like to say, never give up. I said this last time as well. As farmers, we are people of hope and endurance. And it might go in the beginning, it might be difficult, okay? It might be difficult. You might want to give up, but a true farmer never gives up. If you're doing grapes or you're doing rabbit farming, whatever, a farmer stays a farmer, and we people that work hard and that never give up. So I'm wishing you all of the best, and I wish you all make a huge success. Everything of the best here from Cape Town, Ichona Kapa. Keep well.
Thank you so
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Peter.
you.
Thank you for your wise words. And yeah, guys, actually, you know what? It's very important to stay safe. And maybe we can just have that last question, because we are living now, because of the pandemic. Rabbit Farmer, Chopstar, you guys selling your produce online. How do you verify that this person is a legitimate person? How do we trust as consumers? Because that is what's happening. Farmers are being scammed. Even not just specific to even rabbits, even to livestock. Farmers buy certain livestock, and they buy it and they think it's a nice young goat, and especially if they have no knowledge of it, and then they end up buying a pregnant cow or pregnant goats because they don't know these things. So how do we verify that these people are legitimate? Because at the end of the day, farmers are also trying to make money. We don't really have a lot of sophistication in terms of websites and all of that, so we maybe might be selling on Twitter, or we might be selling on Facebook. But how can we really verify that? Do you guys have any experiences to share just before we close off?
Yes. When Google, it's very difficult to trust even us as farmers who trying to educate people about the rabbit meat and rabbit farming. So in our case and in the space, what I've learned is that you need to have a website, you need to have a farm where they can come and see. Unfortunately, due to COVID, we can't allow visitors. And then you must have a shop, you must have a store, you must have a restaurant where they can come and see and touch and feel and have the meal. We normally invite them to our space to say, come to Midrand, come and explore, come and taste, and then we'll show you the meat, we'll show you where we slaughter. And then, yeah, they will start believing in you, and even us will start believing in our clients. And then, as per the per app that we use, it verifies a person before we even sell to the person, because before you leave the meat with the person needs to it's a COD, cash on delivery. It's normally what I advise many farmers to say. um, do a cash on delivery system like us. When you buy our rabbits, we need to give you the history of the rabbit, if it's pure rabbit, the New Zealand white, how old are they. You need that record, and then we will come to you with the rabbits, and then you do the transaction after you see the rabbits. Don't pay for what you don't see. And then on the other hand, in terms of verification as well, we do have a website where you can check our website. Most fortunately, we are now on Google. You can Google us, and then you will see where we are. It will show you where our shops are, where we are, where we're selling the meat. And then, yes, there was a scam that was going around, which was, I won't mention names, but it was a rabbit farmer who tried to scam a lot of people that are in debt now because of them. So we still trying to correct that, like what Chops was saying, that we're still correcting that and trying to show people that this is a good farming, a livestock to farm with, because to rectify other people's mistakes, it's expensive and it's costly. So yeah.
Thank you so much. And I think the lesson here is that as a
Yeah.
farmer, you really need to invest
Yes.
in yourself. You really need to invest in
Yes.
making sure that your value as a business is also upheld. And if you need to get a website, and if you need to put yourself on Google, if you need to do your branding, make sure that that comes first, because there are a lot of scammers here. And we are slowly moving into the e-commerce side of things, thanks to
Yes.
COVID-19.
Yes.
Omar, thank you so
On my
much
side
also
to
for
add,
coming. Do you have
hello.
any last words with us to share of encouragement and how we can, be just like you and be a successful rabbit farmer?
Uh, uh, Let me firstly apologize for coming in late. I don't know. I guess that's due to technical issue. I've been trying to join, but I was unable to since. I think I've had Chopstar and Rabbit Pinion talking since, and I listened to all the questions put to them. Let me start from the issues of as regards scammers. Here in Nigeria, fortunately enough, we now have a lot of people into rabbit farming. Uh, and there is this issue of we have a lot of adulterated rabbit farmers, or there we now have a lot of adulterated rabbits, in which we have farmers that call themselves breeders. And when you try to get rabbit from them, you notice that what they discuss or what they told you they are having is quite different from what they supplied. Another thing is that you have people in which they will request you made payments, and after you made payments, they fail to deliver your goods as requested. But as just like Rabbit Pinion said, the best method to curb these vices is just to ensure you do cash on delivery. When they deliver your goods, ensure when you are okay with what was delivered to you, or what is being delivered to you, then you made your payments. As regard the issue of importing and or exporting, there are a lot of risk involved. Let me say this. Last year, I think I tried to get some rabbit from Benin Republic down to Nigeria. I met this guy on Twitter. We chatted. We discussed as regard price, the weight. Because here in Nigeria, the major breed people do ask for is Haila. Either going to Haila, Angora. Those are the two most demanding breeds here in Nigeria. So this guy told me he has Haila, purebred. So uh, I asked of the individual weight. He said they are over 1.5, because I love buying wind rabbits. So I will raise till they reach a maturity stage. So unfortunately, when the rabbit was delivered to me here in Nigeria, in fact, they were weighing 400 grams instead of 1.5 kg, and I already made payment. Unfortunately, actually lost those 10 rabbits because they were very small. I know the stress. Imagine bringing down 400 grams of rabbits all the way from Benin Republic to Nigeria. So there are issues like this. Another thing is I don't know if Chopstar and Arabic Pinot, they had this issue in their country last year. There was this virus that was very rampant here in Nigeria that affected a lot of rabbit farmers, and that's REG virus. I don't know if they've heard about the virus. Uh, the virus is very, very deadly. The moment that virus entered your farm, in fact, it is most likely 100% mortality. Unfortunately for me, I lost like 95% of my rabbits last year September to that very virus, and that was why I actually stopped people visiting my farm. I stopped people visiting my farm. Whatever you want to buy, we discuss. We meet. I will actually look for a convenient point to meet. I'll bring your product. Then you see if you are okay with it, fine. If you are not, then fine. So the thing is, just like both of the previous speakers have said, rabbit is very lucrative, is very prolific. But the problem we have here in Nigeria is we now have a lot of people into this very business. People do not know who to trust when it comes to breeding. But lucky enough for you, if you are going into this business for meat purpose, then this will actually fetch you good money. But another problem here is that people they actually, probably because of the situation here in Nigeria, when you tell them your price, they're always like, why should we buy rabbits of smaller quantity at this high price to goat meat, you understand, or cow meat. But for people who understand the benefits and uh, health, health benefits of taking white rabbits, they still buy. As a guy marketing, when you are into rabbit farming, your market starts from your own self, your household. You buy for people in your household, then to your neighbor. That's how I started all my mentoring and training. When I started rabbit farming, so I ensure people within my neighborhood they are aware of this business. I train some people. At least I now have more than 10 people within my neighbors that are into rabbit farming. When I the other space that I ended, I was actually coming back from where I went to meet some delivery of rabbits. So lot of issues affecting this very business here in Nigeria because you now have a lot of people into the business. People do not know who to trust as regard breeding. But the only way you can make your money, your cool money here in Nigeria, is to go
Yeah.
into is to go into meat, to go into it for meat purpose. And you can actually, if you know of hotels, because hotels in Nigeria they now purchase rabbit meat. You sell to them. People are now doing rabbit meat pie, rabbit pie. There is something rabbit pie here in Nigeria. So and we have off takers as well. These off takers they sell feeds to you when you buy feeds from them. So then you are eligible to sell to them. And another way I actually market my product is I mentor people, I train them. So the moment I train them, whenever they want to, they are ready to buy. So they buy directly from me because I was the one that trained them, and they have this kind of trust that this very man won't betray them. He won't sell something adulterated for them. So it's just that for every business, you just have to be trustworthy. Chopstar and Rabbitpreneur are lucky that they don't have much people into that business in their country, but here in Nigeria is a different case. In fact, we have secondary school students that that are into the business, so people do not know who to trust. But the thing is, just just ensure that you are not after the money, not after the money in the sense that if you're after the money, you tend to sell something bad to people rather than and rather than quality. You understand?
Yeah.
So and
And I think you are correct in saying that, Umar, that when you're starting off, actually any business, but we'll be very specific to rabbit farming because we have found out that trust is very important.
very, very
Why?
important.
Because not a lot of people are exposed to what rabbit farming is. So if you are going to start now and be a rabbit farmer, you need to really build your reputation. And
Exactly.
as Chopstar and Rabbitpreneur were explaining, that education really goes a long way. And thank you, Umar, as well, for saying that if you're going to be training people and educating people and saying, here's rabbit meat, here's the health benefits, I am selling this at X amount of price, and you keep that consistency, that is how we grow. that is how
Exactly.
your rabbit farming business will also grow.
Exactly.
But unfortunately, thank you so much.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we have come to the end of our farm spaces. We would just like to apologize for the glitches we had. It truly is a Blue Monday, but thank you so much. The show did go on, and I learned so much from you, Chopstar. I learned so much from you, Robert Premier and Uma. Thank you so much for even
Thank you.
coming to share
Thank you
just
very
a
much.
bit what is happening in Africa as well, where you are.
Mhm.
So before we leave, I think I'll ask you guys to where can we find you? You know, if we really want to shadow you or to get training from you, just tell us where to find you. Chopster, you can go first. Where can people find you?
Okay, well, I moved to my village, which is Morokweng, so people around Morokweng can find me straight up in Morokweng. They can follow me and inbox me. They can follow me on the page which I created on Facebook is the Bunny Land. So I'm trying to, as I was telling you, to build the Bunny Land. So that's where people can get me on
On Facebook.
WhatsApp. I can't share it. I'll only share it on private
Okay.
WhatsApp number.
All right. Thank you so much, Chopster. Rabbit Premier, where can we
Thank you
find
very
you?
much.
Okay, we have a website. Our website is www.mpbizrabbitry.co.za, and then our WhatsApp number is 081 788 7984. And then our Facebook page, it's Rabbitpreneurs. And then also what Uma has touched, I know our time is up, Google. It's the disease, the breakout of disease. In our case, we minimize the visitors. We do have a biosecurity. You need to have a tight biosecurity. I normally say to people, rabbit farming, it's not a zoo. We're not here to watch, or it's not a concert where we come in to see Brenda Fassie singing. So may his soul rest in peace. So what we normally say is that make sure that your biosecurity is tight. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Robert Premier, for that one. And you guys heard it here first. A farm is not a zoo. Uma, where can people find you?
Okay. I don't have a Facebook page because of scammers issue, but I'm on Twitter. People can always DM, and I'm as well on WhatsApp. My WhatsApp number is 0903537 7528. Whenever you have any issue as a guide rabbit, I will discuss. If there is anything I need to help you with, I do that. Uh, and as regard what Rabbi Pino said, I have a main farm and I have a farm in which I now use for trading. I just have limited rabbits on that very land. So it's not like my main. So, but people can always reach out to me on Twitter. You can DM or just tag me. I will surely respond. Or you message me on WhatsApp.
And on
So
Twitter
I
and
will
WhatsApp as
respond.
well. Thank you so much for sharing your WhatsApp details and your Twitter details. Guys, you heard it here first. Thank you so much for joining us on Farm Spaces in collaboration with Food from Zanzi. For all the lovely stories on rabbit farming, be sure to follow Food from Zanzi here on Twitter and on Facebook. And that brings us to a close. And we will catch you same time, same place next week, Monday, and every Mondays and Thursdays, 6 p.m. Central African time. You guys have been amazing.